Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi, everybody. I'm just getting my tea bag out of my teacup. All right. So happy Monday morning. I'm Anne.Rossley here with my dear friend and colleague, Kyle Harvey. We sell real estate in downtown Chicago. We're with Baird & Warner's Gold Coast office, and we love to come to you every week to talk about real estate, right?
So I woke up this morning, and as I was getting ready to make this room somewhat a studio, we all know it's not really a studio, and I noticed that it's much lighter.
The days are getting longer. Yes,
Days are
indeed.
getting longer. Yay! Late January. Woo!
Exactly. Although it was still dark when I walked the dogs at 6:30, but every day's getting longer.
It's getting longer.
Right. Yeah. So today we are talking about stats as always, but then we're going to talk about real estate news and trends. And you've got a listing for us as well, right?
I sure do. A new listing.
Okay. Well, because we're at the end of the month, I don't have like the whole month thing. Let me remove us. There we go. I'm going to do quickly the snapshot. And this is weekly in the Midwest real estate data, first showing closed properties. And you can see ending 12/30, which is 4 blue bars to the middle from the right. Did that make sense?
No, I didn't understand it. 12:30?
Go to the far right, see the blue
Yes.
bars,
I
count
see 12:30.
4 in. That's the
Ooh,
last.
look at how little that last week were.
Yeah, that was the last week of last year. And you can see we're coming up, but we're still not as high in closings. But you know what? As I've been looking at stats, that's kind of the case. Because closings in January are the result of contracts in December, right? People
Always.
yeah. So
if you look at it also, go back. If you look at it, it ends 12:30. There were a whole bunch of closings on 12:31 because look, 12:30 to 1/6, they've got a big bump in closings. That was all on the 31st.
yeah, I had a closing that was supposed to close January 3rd. Remember, that was the one where they didn't have heat in the unit and it took 12 weeks to create a heat pump. That's another story, folks. That's cray. Okay, under contract. Look at the bump this week in under contract.
I have people dying to buy.
Yeah, I know. There are people out there looking. New listings, not as big as it was like in September on the far left of the graph, but it's coming up.
Yep.
And this is inventory, and it just shows how low inventory is. That's been the story. All right, let's talk near north a minute. And I'm only going to talk condos in the near north, but Streeterville, River North, Gold Coast. All right, so last month, 170 properties closed, attached. Remember, condo co-ops, townhomes. 138 went under contract, and 699 are for sale. That's a 3.2 month inventory, and the median sales price is $415. The total year of 2024, $1.6 billion worth of attached properties sold in the near north neighborhood, and that was up 17% versus 2023. So how about that?
Well, yeah, I'll be very interested in the number. Do we have the number of closings? Is it?
Of course I do. There you go.
So, yeah.
So you're right. With price appreciation, it wasn't up as much, but still. So,
good.
Yeah, it was a healthy 2024 for the near north. All right. So now we're going to switch over to Lincoln Park. Okay. First, we're doing attached. Okay. You ready? 53 closed, 39 under contract, 66 for sale. 0.7 months of inventory unattached with a median sales price of 600. Isn't that crazy? All right. In terms of pure volume for attached, 752.7 million. 1,082 units was up 6.5. Now let's go to single family. This is just sad. 12 closed, 7 under contract, 30 for sale,
Mhm.
2.2 months of inventory with a 185 median sales price.
That's so much higher than normal. Yeah.
So 371 million sales equates to only 160 houses in Lincoln Park.
That's the shocking thing, is how few.
Absolutely right. So few. And so, here's the deal. Very little inventory. Some of the buyers are on the sidelines now. Freddie Mac, I pulled up the number, 6.96 is our average. We've been hovering in that 6.92, 6.96. So interest rates are unchanged. And that's where we are.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So, right. So, what are you telling your clients about what's happening?
Well, so I tell them I wish I could foresee the future, but that February tends to be when people think that the spring market starts, and people right now are working to get their properties ready for the spring market.
Right.
I have a listing that I'm going to show you in a little bit, that I had talked to the sellers about going on the market right after the Super Bowl, which is the start of spring. Usually spring, the Super Bowl was earlier, so it's funny. But I'm going to go on the market today. There's not enough inventory, and there are people who are desperately looking.
Right.
So I'm not waiting, because I think the spring market is starting now. The problem is we don't have inventory. The people who are buying are paying either cash or a huge amount of down payment, small mortgages.
Right.
Which is really interesting, at least in the small part of the market that I see. But I think there is so much pent up demand to own a home in Chicago right now, either a condo or a house, that people will pay if it's available. And the problem is so little is available.
Right.
I've got a buyer right now who's trying to sell her place, and hopefully it'll sell. We're negotiating. And then she's going to want to buy something, but I want her to have as much opportunity to see things, that there's a good choice to select from.
Right.
Right now it's a little quiet. What do you tell your people?
No, it's the same thing. You need a methodical approach to it. Like you, I've got several listings spinning up that'll be on the market, and I anticipate they'll go very quickly. So
what do you think about the luxury market? I've got a luxury listing coming up, quite an expensive listing. I'm going to have to be very careful with pricing, because the luxury condos are slower.
Right.
So we've got to be very intelligent about where we come on the market. There's no room to be aspirational, I think, right now. I think you have to be laser focused on price. What do you think?
No, I think depending on the building, depending on the location, it's a very good luxury market right now. It's not wild and crazy like it was during COVID, but I think it's good. Yeah, smart pricing wins the day.
Yeah, it's telling the market, how much this is worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's jump to news.
Yeah, go. Am I supposed to pull it up?
No.
Okay, sorry.
I just want to point out that I made that slide, and doesn't it look nice?
It looks lovely.
People, it's so little pleases me. We need the new coffee cup. I couldn't find the new coffee cup.
It's now in our shared
folder. Next week you'll get.
I apologize. Yeah.
No. Okay, so as people who watch us know, the National Association of Realtors and our real estate. There we go. That's the new.
I also have one with our names on it, but that's not
Okay,
here.
the National Association of Realtors and the real estate industry has gone through changes brought on by lawsuits and changes of laws in response to the settlements of those lawsuits. Well, back in 2018, the Department of Justice under then President Trump, and again, then President Trump, the first Trump administration, started an investigation into two things. One, into two practices of the real estate industry. One was commissions and how much commissions are charged, and the participation rule in particular, which said that in order to list a property on the MLS, the listing broker had to offer compensation to the buyer's broker. And so that was the subject of lawsuits. You've heard all about it, and it's changed the industry in the settlement of those lawsuits. Well, back in 2020, the industry settled, and the second issue that they looked at was this clear cooperation policy, right, which requires listing agents to put on the public MLS within one business day of marketing a listing. So the condo that I'm about to show you, once I market it to the public, let public know that I've got this listing, I have to put it on the public MLS. So that's the clear cooperation rule. And it's a subject that we've talked about a little bit previously, but it's controversial, and we'll talk about it again more. But anyway, the Trump administration settled with the National Association of Realtors back in 2020 and said the changes you're making are sufficient. President Biden came in, and his Department of Justice walked away from that settlement and continued the investigation. NAR sued, fought, said, we've settled this. You're not allowed to reopen the investigation. And the Supreme Court, the lowest court said, yes, it's settled. You can't look into this, DOJ. The appellate court said, no, you can drop the settlement. It wasn't inked. You hadn't signed it. You can drop it and go back and continue the investigation. And the Supreme Court said, we're not taking this case, which means that the appellate court decision stands. So the Department of Justice is allowed to go back, to reject the settlement, and to go back and investigate the real estate industry. And that's tricky because the real estate industry has made a lot of changes and would like to get on with its business. The thing, though, that sort of remains, the other issue has been addressed, the commission issue. But right, the thing that remains is really a hot topic right now, and that's this clear cooperation rule. And Anne and I have talked about it. Both of us feel that clear cooperation is best for the market and best for the consuming public because it means it's a clear playing field for all buyers. All buyers get to see all properties that are being marketed.
And truly, it's even better for sellers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't buy into this whole, a seller, if he wants to keep it private, he should be able to keep it private. Well, you and I both know when everybody sees a property in its best possible light, that's when you get the highest prices, which is in the seller's best interest. Not just prices, but terms, everything.
But also for the ones who want to keep it really private, then don't market it.
Right.
You're still allowed to keep it private.
Yes.
You're not allowed to market it. What we're trying to prevent, or what the clear cooperation rule prevents, is these private little markets, these little mini real estate markets that only special people get to see. And this kind of approach only benefits the publicly traded brokerages who need to come up with a way of enticing shareholders to buy their stock, that there's something beneficial to them. This is not good for the market. This is not good for the buying public. And it's not good, as you said, for sellers.
If you take somebody in a gentrifying neighborhood who might not be as real estate savvy, and the broker goes to that seller and says, oh, let's do this private listing, blah, blah, blah. Well, then a week later, they come back and they say, the best offer we have for you is X. And these people who may not be savvy in this gentrifying area are giving up their homes thinking that that's the best possible deal. And, it's taking money out of that seller's pocket. It's taking advantage of the situation. And it just infuriates me.
Yeah. So that's the number one thing. So what we don't know is what President Trump's Department of Justice will do next. Whether they will stand down like they did back in 2020, or whether they will proceed. All things are up for grabs. As we all know, there is a new administration in town, and who knows? Second issue, so watch here. We'll be keeping you apprised because it's really important to the real estate industry, and it's important to buyers and sellers.
Right.
Secondly, President Trump has signed executive orders to combat inflation. And one of the things that he talked about was lowering housing costs and expanding supply. And he didn't talk much about it other than, just that they're going to report on their efforts. I mean, it's very high level at the current stand. But one of the things he has talked about, we've talked about previously, is opening up federal land to development, doing various things to increase supply. But watch here because it'll be very interesting to see. Now, Mortgage Banker Association has asked for the Department of Housing and Urban Development to slash FHA mortgage insurance premiums. To get a mortgage, FHA mortgage, you have to have insurance premiums that you'll pay the mortgage. It's an effect. But what it's doing
Kind of like PMI. Yeah.
It's raising the cost of home ownership for people with FHA loans.
Right.
And when we have private mortgage insurance for a conventional loan, that you don't have to pay it once your equity exceeds 20%. That stops. For FHA mortgage insurance, you have to pay throughout the life of the loan.
And that doesn't make sense.
No matter how much equity you have,
right,
you pay this insurance. So it's expensive.
It's silly, and they really should make that change. That's why FHAs went out of favor, because it just became too cost prohibitive. And
then secondly, economists are concerned about the cost of new construction from deporting immigrants, documented and undocumented. The reason for that is apparently, which is shocking, 30% of construction workers right now are immigrants, and most of them undocumented. So, or not green card holding. That's shocking. That if we lose a huge portion of that workforce, think about a third. All of a sudden, you go to the office and a third of the people are gone.
Right.
What is that going to do to construction projects? What is that going to do to the cost of these projects? It'll be very interesting to see. So what I'm saying is watch this space.
That's assuming that this deportation thing works.
No. Just watch the space because we'll see. We're following the news.
We are.
Third, this is happening in Illinois. So Illinois in 2023 expanded its Human Rights Act. So the state has a Human Rights Act that one of the prohibitions on discrimination is discriminating on a person's source of income to rent property. Okay. Right. So landlords cannot discriminate against people who, for example, would pay for their rent with alimony, for example. So that's a source of income that they haven't earned, but that they receive, okay? And one of them is, one of these other sources of income for rent is what we call Section 8 vouchers. That's what we've called over time, but now it's called housing choice vouchers. But the world knows of it as Section 8. And this group, there is a group based out of New York that has been calling brokers, calling brokerages, and asking if a property is available to rent with a Section 8 voucher. And the answer has been, for 165 defendants, no, that they have seemingly discriminated and violated this rule based on the source of income that would pay for the voucher. So this action has not been brought in court, because I tried to find the complaint. It's been brought before the Human Rights Commission, the Department of Human Rights. So there's a administrative step that has to be jumped through before they can bring a lawsuit in court. And we're at the administrative step. Now, the brokerages include Coldwell Banker Real Estate, Baird & Warner, and Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. There have been others, but those are the ones that were reported in the newspaper or in Crane Chicago Business. So more to come. Have you ever had experience with getting a Section 8 voucher or representing a landlord with a Section 8 voucher?
I have sold a property in the last year where it was a tenant was a Section 8 person.
Mm-hmm.
I have never taken a property and gotten it approved for Section 8, nor have I, because, we don't work with tenants, nor have I worked with a tenant who's looking for Section 8 housing.
So when I think about it, I think that if I were a landlord, one of the great things about Section 8 is that money shows up every month.
That's what I hear from, we have dear friends who live in Hyde Park, and they had a garden unit for years and had Section 8 tenants in there, and it worked beautifully for them.
Because it shows up. There's no, I didn't get paid this month, or I had to go to the hospital and something happens. No, shows up. The check shows up.
Right.
The tricky thing for a lot of landlords is the hurdles you have to go through and the length of time that you have to spend to try and get approval to accept Section 8, or your property is Section 8 approved, means that your property is off the market for all of that time while you jump through these hoops.
Right.
So it is, I think for this to be successful, the processing of Section 8 housing approvals needs to be absolutely improved.
Right.
So, but anyway, that's the news.
Well, and I suspect that with some of these agents, it's not even so much the unwillingness to help or to put these people into properties. It's the ignorance about the process and how to do it.
It's a hard process, because I went once because I was helping a client who wanted to do this, and I got the rules and they were like, oh my God. And they ended up taking it off the market because for other reasons, but it was like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I understand the government doesn't want to just say yes and pay anything, but at the same time, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So do you have trends, or are we going to jump to my property?
Let's do trends quick. What do you think? All right. So we've been trying to do this for 3 weeks, and not to say the trends have gone away.
No.
Really, when we put this slide deck together, it was really talking more about what were the trends in 2024. So let's kind of, this
See where
is
we are in 2025.
Exactly. Excuse me. All right. You tell me if you think these are correct or not. All right. Well, obviously, pricing and inventory. Prices continue to rise. Inventories at record lows. We all know this. 70% have less than 4% interest rates, and today's rates are basically 7%. So there you go. We don't need to even belabor that one. Luxury sales have stalled. And by that, we mean that they aren't off the charts like they were.
So
Inventory.
go ahead. I was going to jump in. People, since Anne put together this I would like to point out the beautifulness with which Anne creates slides compared to my slides. But since this was created in early January, California caught fire and burned down a lot of homes.
Right.
Chicago has been becoming an alternative destination for people fleeing climate disasters like these wildfires.
Right.
I have to think that Californians are going to start to say, I'm going to invest. I'm always going to have a California place because of the lifestyle, but I'm going to have a home somewhere else that's safe from my nice things. Don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
How many homes? I don't even know how many homes were destroyed in these fires, but
it was like over 11,000 or something. It was a ridiculous
and
number.
some of them were rich people's homes.
Yes.
It's gone. So it'll be and there will be people who say, so and so I know's home was destroyed. I need to have another plan.
Right.
Your home doesn't have to be destroyed for you to say, there, but for the grace of God go I.
Right.
And so it'll be very interesting to see. So I'm thinking luxury is going to move up.
I think you make a very good point. And when you look at luxury price per square foot in Chicago, it is very reasonable compared to a California or a Manhattan or a Miami or,
really anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's very reasonable. So I'm with you. All right. Hot neighborhoods, not just West Town and Fulton Market, folks. We talk about that as being the hot place. So look at these. All right. So this is year over year pricing. Bucktown up 67%, Hermosa up 195, Avondale up 121. So
we don't talk about Hermosa and Avondale much. Will you tell our listeners where those neighborhoods are?
So Avondale is just north of Logan, between Logan and Old Irving or Irving Park neighborhood. And Hermosa is one neighborhood west of that. Okay. So, look at the median price.
Old Irving.
Irving Park.
Right. I just wanted, so people, we haven't talked about those neighborhoods as much.
No, we haven't. I suppose I could have pulled up a map. But look at the median sales price of those neighborhoods, and you can see why. It's entry level. You can still find properties to be renovated. You're still kind of up the 90.
It's gentrifying.
Corridor. So, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Look at me. It's been so long since I looked at this map. Okay. Funny. All right. Here we go. All right. And then, I just wanted to show Loop and Near North up. Okay. New construction.
Wow.
We haven't talked about this, but, St. Regis, 8 years old, a quarter of the units were sold off to an investor. We haven't talked about that, and that's some interesting.
St. Regis was started to be built. It's only like 4 years old, right? 5 years old?
No, they broke ground starting 8 years ago.
Yeah. But it took a while to build that thing.
Yeah. And they've had some issues in that building. They had the, problem with the coolant, and, they had a little flood into the units, and it took them a while to get the hotel opened up.
But now it's fantastic.
I was able to sell, my clients bought from a developer 3 years ago, and last year we closed on the unit, and it did sell for more than what they bought it for. So, for new construction luxury, that's pretty good. Tribune Tower, 77% sold, but they are not. Yeah, the second tower is tabled. So I'm actually surprised they're as sold as they are in that building. But
I have to tell you, I think the second tower does not make sense. I
I
was
don't-
sort of hopeful that it wouldn't sell or that it wouldn't be built because that's just way too many people in one
I
very,
agree.
very condensed area.
Right. It just overloads the Streeterville area again.
Again,
Yeah, I agree. One Chicago. I haven't heard anything about where they are in terms of sales. Have you?
I think it's down because I'm starting to hear incentives being offered to brokers.
Ah,
And that's very interesting in light of the new rules on commissions. So, but they are trying to find ways for us to get our buyers. Yeah.
well, a lot of luxury new construction in Chicago.
Yeah.
And really, if you wanted to put somebody into a mid-priced new construction, where would you put them? It's
Well,
all resale.
it's all resale except for in the neighborhoods. There are a lot of 6 flats, 8 flats, some 3 flats, but
Units. Yeah.
there are small condo units.
Walk-up type units.
Yeah, or small elevator buildings. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. A lot of people want a doorman. And there are few condo sandberg type buildings being built. There are rentals being built.
Right.
But not, the thing that was great about Sandberg is it was entry and mid pricing.
Yeah.
And yet it was, it's multi-unit. Really
Yeah.
multi-unit, a high rise. And I don't see those coming on.
Well, you know what? You have to, I forget the Illinois law. These developers have to hold a rental building for at least 2 years before they convert it to condo. That's the opportunity.
Yeah, I think people are doing well enough. Developers are doing well enough with
their apartments. Yeah.
They're not flipping them.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. My point, though, is there are I think the real value, if I'm a buyer and I want like a 3-bedroom, reasonably priced, I'd be into the Fordham, the Bristol, the Pinnacle, not because they're the shishiest, but because they've come down in price to be, they're a reasonable price.
But they're also luxury. Those are over 3 and 4 bedrooms, and those buildings are over $1 million.
Right, but you can get, say, a 17 to 2,000 square foot 3-bedroom for 800-ish. I just sold one at the Fordham that was a lovely 2,000 square foot.
But that's 3 bedrooms, yeah.
3 bedrooms, yeah. And then you're right in the heart of it. I think that's the sweet spot. So
it has a ton of units, and they're starting to turn over. Yeah.
Where's that?
I said that the Fordham has a lot of units. So, yeah.
They're going to need a little zhuzhing up, because they're 20, but still, well-run building. The same with 57 Delaware, great building. They're just, and that location is good. So I'm just saying, as the counterpoint to this luxury stuff that's going on. Oh, here's more new construction stuff to talk about. So 400 Lakeshore Drive, the 2 towers where the Spire was, they're going in. They're going to be rentals. 1,000 Michigan, 1,000 M. Remember, it was supposed to be condos. Now it's rentals. And then 850 Lakeshore Drive is converting.
So 1,000 M. They're now rentals. 37 of 162 condos left. What does that mean? Meaning these are.
Oh, you know what? I copied that wrong. Ignore that.
Okay.
Whoopsie. Okay, and then 850 Lakeshore. That's going to be interesting. I don't have any sales data on that either.
I'm watching it in my hot sheet, and they are closing. There are a whole bunch are under contract and in the pending. They've been working on that building for a long time. It'll be nice.
That's a good building. I love the pool in there is spectacular, and the common room is spectacular.
Yes, it is. However, it's very expensive per square foot.
Yeah, well,
Mm.
right.
Yeah.
All right. So then I want to talk about preferences for buyers. And then let's just run through these quick. Everybody still wants move-in condition, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing people want low assessments. So they want amenities, but they want low assessments. In-unit washer and dryer continues to be a must. Don't you agree with buyers?
Crazy must, especially for the young people.
Yeah. Balcony, outdoor space, people prefer.
But they're getting less demanding of it.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you. Less demanding. Open kitchens, mostly, although same thing. They're not as critical about having an open kitchen anymore. Parking EV chargers are a big issue. Package services and how packages are handled is a big service. Everybody wants a fitness room. And fireplaces are not so hot anymore. What do you think about that?
So every time I show a unit that has one of those gas fireplaces, one of those ventless fireplaces, they're all like, ooh, fireplace. And I said, when was the last time you lit a fire? They're like, oh, I never did.
I know, nobody ever does, right? And then the inspector, when you do those ventless fireplaces, they'll always say, don't ever run it more than 2 hours because you've got too much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. They're not worth it. That's it. Those are my trends.
Excellent. Can I quickly show this?
Oh, of course. Where is it?
I have to
Bring it up.
I got to present, share screen. Uh-oh. Okay. Before your screen. I don't want, do I? No. Okay, allow. So let me separate this off so that it lets me. Okay, people. Window. Sorry. There we go.
Oh, wait, I'm adding the wrong thing. There we go.
There we go. Hi, everyone. Now you get to
Oh, the Ambassador House.
The Ambassador House, everybody.
By the way, folks, this is where Kyle lives, and it's where I used to live. We have such an affinity for this building.
I know. I love this building. And I'm shocked about how, let's do this. Can I do this? Does that make it bigger? Oh, does that make it bigger for you people?
A little bit.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
So this is this beautiful 13F. It's right now, we've taken all the furniture out. So just to give you a sense, this is how my sellers lived in it.
Okay.
But you can see how much furniture you can get in these big rooms. Rooms are enormous.
So all that beautiful furniture they took out. Oh, look at that kitchen.
Look at that pretty kitchen. It's a beautiful, it's in that shape. So this was these pictures with all the furniture was from several years ago. And now it's empty, but isn't it beautiful? This is what you get. Now
did they put the kitchen on an angle?
Yes, and they loved it. So first of all, it means that it's so much easier to have people working together in the kitchen.
Right, instead of a small galley. Yeah.
Entertaining space, because that becomes sort of like the buffet. It's really nice. Look at that beverage fridge.
Oh.
Okay, that's me.
Okay.
So this is the bedroom.
Folks, bedrooms in this building are so big. We're talking a 2-bedroom, 1,650 square feet.
Yeah.
So large and so comfortable. Oh, look at that pretty bathroom.
Look at these bathrooms. I'll have 2. This is the closet.
You know, when we had our unit there, and it was a combination unit, when we had it, I had more storage in there than I did when I moved to a house.
Yeah. Oh, the closets galore. So this is the 2nd bedroom. Enormous, beautiful floors. 2nd bath. You still have the tub. Look how pretty that is.
That's really pretty.
And in-unit laundry.
Right. Wow.
Like now. Here you go. That's all I got, people. Oh, this is the.
Oh, yeah. So that shows on an angle. Interesting.
Isn't it great?
And you have a price on this yet?
Yes, it's $649,000.
Nice.
That is unit 4 at the same unit sold for that price a couple months ago. And
There
this
you
is
go.
more light. Okay, that's all I got, people.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Thank you for sticking with us, for the 12 of you who did.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Next week, we'll bring you more news, more scoop, and more fun. So follow us on social, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.